Okay, so welcome to the Force and Motion at Home Lesson 6 and 7 video lecture. Um, I've combined lessons 6 and 7 mostly because I did not want to spend 2 days this week devoted to one article that seemed a bit excessive. So here we go. We will continue to investigate the question, if the same strength force is exerted onto objects, why might they be affected differently? Let's find out. So, scientists and engineers ask questions and carry out investigations to improve their understanding about topics they are interested in or to improve their designs. Today, we are going to read about some designs that engineers worked on to help people improve their lives. So, the mythical Dr. Gonzalez sent an article that may help you understand how the same thrust or force could have affected the pod so differently. So, the article is not about space pods, as you noticed by the pictures. It's about designing wheelchairs for different types of people and activities. So you will use what you learned about the different types of wheelchairs to help you figure out what could have happened to the pod. So we're going to be learning different types of information and figuring out how to apply it to a problem. So remember, in this class, we use active reading approach when we read. Science reading can be especially complex. It is important to read the science texts actively so you can really understand what you read. Active reading helps you pay attention and learn when you read. So, honestly and truly, this is something that you really need to get into the habit of doing. I will show you one of my textbooks from my classes. It is one giant post it note or underline. So the following slides show how an 8th grade student named Roberto made annotations on a digital version of the Designing Wheelchairs for All Shapes and Sizes article. You will see what Roberto was thinking about when he was reading. Making annotations is part of active reading approach to reading science texts. So we're going to go through and see what he did, and this will just kind of give you ideas of how to approach or what my expectations are of annotations. So by looking at Robert's annotations, you will learn more about how to annotate to show your thinking and some strategies you can use, such as making connections, asking questions, or making questions deeper. Okay, so you can follow along with your article to see what Roberto did with his annotations on the next slides. You can also add your own annotations. So you can find this article in the back of your workbook. It is also in the Nearpod. So Roberto began by reading the title and the first 5 sentences out loud. So, designing wheelchairs for all shapes and sizes. Ooh, interesting. I'd like to know more. People who use wheelchairs come in all different sizes and shapes. Children and adults, tall and short, big and small. And so do the wheelchairs they use. Some wheelchairs have motors and others are operated by hand. People use wheelchairs to do all kinds of different things. Wheelchair users may go to school or work in an office. They may sing in a rock band or take their dogs to the park, compete in races, or lead a parade through the streets. Ooh, okay. So he read the sentence, some wheelchairs have motors and others are operated by hand. And this sentence made him wonder. So this is where we can have our I wonder statements. Why were there different types of or differences between wheelchairs? So what he did is he highlighted it and he recorded his question, which was why. Asking questions is important, but this seems not like enough. So asking deeper questions might mean taking a simple question such as how or why and adding more focus to it. So Roberto made his question more specific. So he just kind of tried to dig into it a little bit. And he revised his question so it focuses on the topic of designing wheelchairs for different activities, which is the focus of this article. So instead of saying why, because that's a really random thing, and it's also really difficult when I go back through my annotations to even understand what I meant by why. How are the differences designed to make wheelchairs better for each activity? Question mark. So that's the annotation he put, which is a lot more specific and easier. So Roberta read the sentence, Dr. Rory Cooper knows all about designing wheelchairs. He's an engineer who works to improve wheelchair safety, comfort, and usefulness. This reminded him about something from science class. So he's making connections to prior knowledge. We learned about other kinds of engineers in science class. So he remembered, oh my gosh, I learned about this and now I'm reading it in an article. I need to write it down. Roberto used many different strategies as he read the article. He asked questions, he made connections, and highlighted words he didn't know. He knew that reading actively and making annotations would help him understand the text. You should also use these active reading strategies when you read. You totally should. So next you will read and annotate designing wheelchairs yourself, and the active reading guidelines can help you read actively. That's such a redundant sentence. Okay, so think carefully about what you read. Pay attention to your own understanding. As you read, annotate the text to make a record of your thinking. Highlight challenging words in notes and record questions and make connections. Examine all visual representations carefully. Consider how they go together with the text. And after you read, discuss what you have read with others to help better out your understanding. So how are you going to use these guidelines today? Keep that question in mind. All right, so here's the thing. You're going to read and annotate the Designing Wheelchairs article. Your annotations must have 2 I wonder statements, 2 connections to prior knowledge and experiences, and 1 piece of information that you want to know more about. So this is what the general rule of what I'm looking for in annotations. Annotations, okay, and that is it. So I will let you get to it, and good luck. Please do let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, freakouts, or panic attacks.